everyone. My name is Madison Mosley, and today I will be discussing with you reference skills as reference collections, skills for successful community transactions. And for this presentation, I researched and observed an urban public library in a major city, and I will discuss my findings as well as how reference methods and materials serve as reference collections. Understanding which skills are valuable in the 21st century are essential to library and community growth. It is essential to analyze the impact of the library on its community as well as the community's impact on the library. As library science students, I think this is very important as we need to see what is working within our community and how we can support each other going into the future. And that will not only help the future of libraries, but help us as librarians decide what is useful in the library and what patrons need. That's going to be our bread and butter. In October of 2017, I observed the reference department of the main branch in a major United States city library for a total of 8 hours. And I will refer to the library as Library X and the librarians as Librarian A, B, C, etc. How a reference librarian approaches answering questions depends on the philosophy of the library, the department, and the personal preferences and capabilities of the individual librarian. There are 3 generally accepted styles of reference services: a conservative or minimal approach, a moderate approach, and a liberal approach. The conservative approach consists of light instruction and assistance. The moderate approach communicates more about the sources and how to use them. And the liberal approach emphasizes answers over instruction. For my observation, Librarian A recommended that I sit at the desk about 10 feet away from the actual reference desk. This was to protect the privacy of the patrons, and I was more than happy to comply, especially since Librarian A was able to signal to me what kind of reference questions she had after the patrons had gone away, after several patrons had gone away, so that she was not telling me what the individual requests were. And she also let me know when they had any telephone or virtual reference questions so I could be sure what kind of work she was doing at the desk. Librarian A used a variety of reference methods and took a situational approach with each inquiry. It was interesting to see how she reacted to patrons that she knew versus patrons that she didn't know. Patrons that she knew, there was not as much of a reference interview, but with patrons that she didn't know, there was a full and complete reference interview. She fielded 32 questions, but the number doubles when it comes to talking to patrons, her interactions with patrons. Many patrons came up to say hello, talk about the football game going on, or remarked about the weather or politics. This observation shows how deeply ingrained the staff are at Library X. A friendly, welcoming environment goes further than performing research sometimes. It creates a sense of belonging within the community. Research in urban public libraries shows that soft skills like the ability to empathize and communicate with the user go a long way in maximizing social capital and the impact of libraries in their communities. As we examine reference services in the 21st century and continue to transform with the changes in the information profession, we must remember that working at a reference desk is handling questions outside your own knowledge or understanding and answering them in a way that meets not only the letter but the spirit of helpfulness. The spirit of helpfulness and community we build with our users make libraries relevant to urban populations for years to come. Therefore, we should not view reference as a collection, but as a living entity where librarians are an accessible and invaluable part of the collection. This was clear at Library X. The librarians were as important as far as interacting with the materials as the materials were. And you could tell that the patrons felt comfortable and welcome there. If we view the public libraries separately from the communities they serve, we see that exceptional library services consequentially form a symbiotic relationship with their populations. Libraries promote general welfare in their communities, and in return, communities respect and support their libraries. This symbiosis of libraries and their communities has carried and will continue to carry into the 21st century. Thank you.